Tonight, a criminal investigation is underway and 4 staff members at a small school are on administrative leave.
Serious enough allegations in Elizabeth to keep people away from kids for the time being, but the school district isn't saying much. Here's 9 News reporter Rachel Krause.
Tonight, 4 staff members at Elizabeth Middle School are on paid administrative leave. Jason Hackett, public information officer with the district, says this all started months ago.
Earlier this school year, administration for Elizabeth School District learned of complaints that were made by some middle school students at Elizabeth Middle School in the spring.
The district won't tell us what those complaints were, but says they should have been reported immediately under Colorado's mandatory reporter laws. Hackett says when the district found out about those student complaints months later, they took action.
Upon receiving that word of those complaints, administration launched an investigation working with local law enforcement to ascertain what happened.
The Elizabeth Police Department says due to a conflict of interest, the 18th Judicial District Attorney's Office will handle the investigation. The DA's office says a criminal investigator is looking into the matter, but couldn't share any details. Elizabeth Schools won't say who exactly is on leave, but in the same statement from the district about this investigation, they also announced Elizabeth High School's assistant principal will take over as the middle school's interim principal.
You probably can read between the lines a little bit in the news release as far as positions, but naming people, things like that, we're not at liberty to do that at this point because the investigation is still going on.
As for what kind of complaints students made, if student safety was compromised, or even if staff members were put on leave for failing to report or as a result of these students' complaints, the district wouldn't say.
Because of the investigation right now, we really can't say much more than that.
But Hackett stressed these students' allegations are being taken very seriously.
Yes, absolutely.
The district tells me that when it comes to learning at Elizabeth Middle School, it's business as usual, and the district is bringing in retired educators to help fill the roles of these suspended staffers in the meantime. The district says parents can call or swing by the district's office to talk to the superintendent about this, and they're even inviting parents to a forum next Wednesday to help answer questions.
Well, at least that's good to hear that there's a forum, because I imagine, if I'm a parent at this school, I understand it's sensitive dealing with kids, but my mind is spinning. What is going on here?
Yeah, absolutely. And they say it's really tough right now because right now they just can't tell parents much.
All right, we'll see what parents learn next Wednesday. Rachel, thanks.
A week from tomorrow, state legislators will have to go back to work and try to find a way to cut skyrocketing property taxes without raising other taxes. This is the backup option the Democratic Governor Jared Polis did not want, but has been forced into because voters overwhelmingly rejected his tax plan, Prop HH, this week. The state legislature has a couple of options for next steps. They can make some of your property value tax-free. They can lower the assessment rate, which would then lower your property tax increases. State legislators could also adjust your Tabor refund for next year, using some of that money to backfill budgets of schools, fire districts, and other local governments that rely on property taxes. Whatever they do, it's a one-year fix. It's just for next year. Governor Polis's fellow Democrats control the entire legislature, but he has not said which of these approaches he supports.
I want to be clear, we don't have a particular plan in the sense of the actual policy, but we want to give the legislature the room to use the $200 million for property tax relief, to use more than that for property tax relief.
Now, whatever comes next is completely up to the Democrats. They could pass a bill without a single Republican vote. Legislature will be back to work next Friday. They'll work through the weekend. Thanksgiving, of course, is the following week, so you can imagine they're probably going to aim to get that work done before the holiday.
A Loveland police officer was arrested in Fort Collins today. The second officer from that department arrested this week. Wilbert Howard is in the Larimer County Jail, accused of second-degree assault and child abuse for an incident that happened while he was off duty. Loveland PD says this has to do with something that happened at a home in Fort Collins. Police found out about it a week ago. Howard has been with the department for 17 years. He's on administrative leave, and Loveland PD started an internal investigation. On Monday, Larimer County deputies arrested another Loveland officer accused of sexually assaulting a 15-year-old girl on the job this summer. Deputies arrested Dylan Miller, and Loveland police immediately fired him. Miller is due in court today, Monday.
Denver's mayor has lost another site where he hoped to locate one of those micro-communities for people living on the streets. There will not be a site in Virginia Village on Birch Street. The city says there were logistical issues with the site, and the private landowner who owns it backed out. Last week, the city scrapped 2 other privately owned sites on Yale Avenue and Bannock Street. The Johnston administration says it'll have 3 sites up and running by January, and their goal remains to have a site in every city council district.
Tonight, leaders in Colorado's second largest school district agreed to sell off or lease out one of more than a dozen schools shut down this summer. Jeffco Public Schools doesn't have enough students to keep every campus open. So this summer, the district shut down 15 elementary schools, including Emory Elementary in Lakewood. Tonight, the school board agreed to sell or lease the campus off Mississippi near Wadsworth, still working out the plans for the other 14 empty schools. Last month, Jeffco voted to shut down 2 more schools next summer, Arvada K-8 and Coal Creek Canyon K-8.
Hundreds of families are still trying to rebuild their homes nearly 2 years after Colorado's most costly wildfire. Now state regulators are joining some Democratic legislators and asking insurance companies to extend help for those families. The state's Division of Insurance just sent a letter to insurers asking them to extend coverage that pays for a temporary place for people to live. Most families' so-called additional living expenses coverage expired 2 years after the fire, so that would be December. Only about half the people who lost their homes have permits to rebuild. Fewer than a quarter have clearance to move back in. The Division of Insurance is asking insurance companies to work with families to get them some short extensions so they can finish their rebuilds.
Lauren, the weather roller coaster rolls on.
Well, that's exactly right. Yesterday we saw that snow in the high country. It was kind of gray and drizzly yesterday, much cooler. This afternoon we were slightly below our seasonal averages, maxing out around 50 degrees. And then as we go into the next couple of days, we're going to see lots of sunshine and those temperatures gradually increasing. The heat is going to return as we approach 70 degrees by the middle of next week. In the meantime, we do have a pretty sunny and mild weekend ahead as well. Right now, though, we're pretty chilly. Clear skies, 30 degrees at DIA. We do have winds coming in from the south-southeast at around 13 miles per hour. So we're going to continue to monitor these chilly temperatures tonight. Tomorrow we're going to be right where we should be this time of year, closer to those average temperatures, and then we're above average through the rest of the 7-day forecast. As you take a look at our HG Doppler radar, we do have a lot of rain and actually a lot of moisture just to the southeast of us in Colorado, and maybe even some lingering slight snow flurries across the far southern portions of the high country over the last hour. Those are clearing out as well. So we will be mostly clear tonight. As we go out through the day tomorrow, we're going to see sunny seasonal weather. We do have details on your weekend forecast, and yes, a very warm next week ahead. I'll have all of those details for you in my 7-day forecast.